Hey there, this is Matt once again. First off, I want to apologize if the next couple reviews features a lot of coughing, because I'm doing videos on the same day, and I'm trying to get over the flu. Got a cough drop in here. Of course, the figures that the day that happens is when I'm talking about this bullshit movie. Why did I see the film, even though the trailers look like dog shit? It's two things. One, I don't hate Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I like his persona and wrestling of The Rock. I liked a lot of his matches. No joke, I liked his persona when he was the good guy and he was talking smack to people, making fun of how people looked, how people talked, the catchphrases he came up with. He was quick, he was fast, he had an attitude, he would make fun of their attitudes, look, the way they speak. I wish he would play that kind of character in a movie. The closest is probably his character in the Fast and Furious movies, but he's never really played the character that he played in wrestling. I don't know if it's one of those things like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, think about it, Stone Cold Steve Austin has never played Stone Cold Steve Austin type in a movie. When he did movies, he was very straightforward, man of few words. But yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he would talk trash a lot. It's like, well, why don't you play that in a movie? Same with The Rock, but again, maybe they want to separate the wrestling and the movies. But if The Rock persona was in a movie like this, it would only help. But there's been many films of his I like. Central Intelligence I was surprised by. Race to Witch Mountain I enjoyed. I thought it was fun. The Rundown is great. I enjoyed his work in the Fast and Furious movies. I'm one of the few people that enjoy Doom. It's not the definitive Doom movie, but I enjoy it as a creature feature action film. The effects, I like Carl Urban, I like the music, I like The Rock as a villain because it's something different from him. He doesn't usually get to play the villain. But there's been a lot of films with him I don't like. I hated Jumanji 2. Or Journey 2 was pretty lame in my opinion. I did not like G.I. Joe Retaliation. The only thing I cared about that movie was, wow, they fixed Snake Eye's lips. He doesn't have the DSL lips that he had in the first G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra movie. They fixed Snake Eye's lips. Whoop-de-fucking-do. That's the only good I could see out of that movie. I thought it was a pretty boring action movie, G.I. Joe Retaliation. Considering it has The Rock and Bruce Willis in it, that's pretty shitty. I'm trying to think what the hell he's done. Oh, Rampage. It was a mild rant because I liked the third act, although a good chunk of the movie I didn't care for. And he's become the Adam Sandler of action movies. He's just everywhere. He's doing Jumanji 3, The Jungle Cruise. I think he's going to do another action movie or another movie with the guy who did this movie. I could be wrong on that. The one thing I look forward to is maybe the one that he's doing with Jason Statham, Hobbs and Shaw. Idris Elba's the villain. Maybe that one. But you know, I like the guy, but he's getting so played out. He's not picking his movies well. Jumanji 2, I hate it. Rampage, I guess, of the 3 recent Rock films I've seen, it's the best. Jumanji 2, Rampage, and this one. Because, again, Rampage at least had a dumb, fun third act. This film is just dumb. But then another reason I wanted to give it a shot was there was another Die Hard type of movie that was PG-13 that I talked shit about, but when I saw it, I was surprisingly loved it. That's this movie. I thought this would be the biggest piece of shit, and then when I got around to seeing this film, I enjoyed it. Thus, I bought the Blu-ray. This was a fun movie. I even liked this more than Olympus Has Fallen. I like Olympus Has Fallen. I like London Has Fallen, mainly for Gerard Butler. But this one, I don't know, I just had more fun with this movie. It's PG-13. It stars Channing Tatum, but I didn't mind him in the movie. Jamie Foxx I thought was good. I like the villains. You know, the cast. You have James Woods. You have Richard Jenkins. I like that it was in the daytime, so it was easier to see, and I thought the effects were a little bit better than some movies of that ilk. I like some of the action set pieces. I had a lot of fun with this film. So, I'm like, well, that's a PG-13 movie, and I talk shit about. I want to be surprised in a movie. That's what people don't understand. I do want to be surprised with a film. Even if I go in and think it's going piece of shit, being surprised is the best feeling. Like, great, wow. World War Z, I know some people don't like that film. I was surprised by World War Z. That and White House Down, I thought, were fun. This film, it wasn't. This film was a boring, pedestrian, run-of-the-mill, green screen the movie. So much green screen, it might as well have been a fucking PS4 video game. PS3 video game, whatever. It might as well be. And there is nothing to this fucking film. And it's sad that 25 years ago we had Cliffhanger to be one of the best action films of the 90s. One of my favorite action films of all time. That was Die Hard in the Mountains. And think about that trailer to Cliffhanger. And how did it end? Stallone making this impossible leap. Granted, they cut that bit out of the movie. And then they used a chunk of it for another scene in the movie. But the actual scene where he's jumping from A to B, they cut out. But it was in the trailer. How did the trailer for this one end? The Impossible Leap, Skyscraper, Cliffhanger. I mean, fuck. One-word titles, and they're die-hard type of movies. And I'm like, wow, 25 years ago, you had Cliffhanger. And you looked at real locations, insane action set pieces, wonderful, exciting stunt work with real people. Like real people going from one airplane to another. Brutal, R-rated fights where Stallone's getting the shit kicked out of him and just kinetic, just stalactite impale to fucking heaven and then fucking hell. Keep your arms and legs in the vehicles at all times. John Lithgow, memorable villain. Michael Rooker, I mean, it's sad. You look at what action films like that were, and then you get this piece of shit. I'm like, so much of Cliffhanger they did for real, and so much of this they could do for real, but it's all fucking green screen, which leaves not much suspense or thrills. And that's the thing, people, you know, when I do these reviews or rants, people are like, oh, you just want realism? No. I love escapism. Many of the films I've reviewed in the past, I love their escapism fun. But it has to be fun. This film... Okay. When you saw those long trailers, they did show you pretty much the entire movie. Especially the first hour of the movie. Or at least the first half. At least the first half of the movie, if you take out the end credits, it's like 90 minutes long. Sorry I'm bleeping so much. It's like I'm trying to squeeze the fucking juices of this movie out of my fucking brain. The beginning. Hostage situation. I'm like, you know what? I'd rather watch fucking Hostage with Bruce Willis, which is a pretty decent film. I'd rather watch the opening of fucking Mercury Rising, which was a hostage situation, which I liked that film. The team goes in, there's a bad guy, he's got a kid, and I even thought, oh, let me guess, it's a grenade, right? And it is a fucking grenade. Cuts away, and you saw a little bit of that in the trailer. Then The Rock is in a hospital, sees Neve Campbell, she's a doctor. That entire scene was in the trailer. All you saw the trailer with him in the hospital, you're thinking, well, maybe they extended more some dialogue between him and the doctor, him and Neve Campbell getting to know each other. Nope. What you saw in the trailer was in the scene. Then it cuts to like 10 years later. He's got 2 kids. He's an amputee. And I don't even get why the amputee thing was even needed. I'm not saying you can't put that into a movie. But they only use it only comes up 3 times. Most you saw in the trailer. 20 minutes in, he has a fight with this turncoat buddy, which you can see coming a mile away, that he's a turncoat. That he's going to turn on the rock. Former buddy. That cliche. And the guy rips the leg off of the rock, and the rock is hopping after the guy on one leg. It's like what's the story about the one-legged man ass-kicking contest? I'm like, this is silly. This is silly shit. It's like this movie's a parody that's too fucking stupid to realize it's a parody. So he's hopping around trying to get to the guy. And, okay, the second time you saw in the trailer when he does the swing and he falls and his leg catches on the rope. The third time, he takes his leg and holds the doors that are closing so it can be held and then he can get through. That's it. I'm like, so he's an amputee because of those 3 scenes. I guess so. But yeah, he leaves for work. He's working for this new building, which is the tallest building in the world, and it's in China. Why is it in China? So that they can make a shitload of money overseas, including China, and make that foreign box office. I know that's a cynical way of thinking, but there's a reason why people think that way, because it's the truth. So, one day, his buddy, who's from the past, and I'm thinking, oh, this guy, he's going to turn on the rock. Just even the movie said, we know you're going to figure this out. So 20 minutes in, yep, it's revealed. They get in the fight, the guy dies, tells him a little bit what's going on. The Rock's family. And I like Neve Campbell. I liked her in the Scream films and other stuff. Part of me thought it would be more interesting if she was the star of this movie. But her and the 2 kids are stuck in the building. These bad guys have come in. They made this floor, lit it on fire, and the way they lit it was, is this a real thing where you put this powder down and then you turn on the sprinklers, and when the water hits the powder, the flames erupt? So water causes flames to be created? I'm like, but wait a minute, the sprinklers are still going. I thought. Maybe not. I guess, yeah, there's another team of bad guys led by this Asian woman, which I'm like, are they trying to be like Maggie Q and fucking Live Free or Die Hard? Which I saw that in the theater and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the PG-13 as well as the unrated version. So this wannabe Maggie Q, her and others are controlling the building. So the fire keeps going. The Rock, this is one point, you know, this typical cliche where a bad guy has a gun on him, could shoot him, doesn't yet. Then when he decides to, a cop very conveniently passes by, so then the Rock can escape. And you go, well, Matt, you know, that's like, you know, the gun on the good guy, but then click, no more bullets. That kind of luck would not happen in real life. It's like, come on, man, it's escapism, it's just a movie. No, those are fucking cliches that should be dead. It's 2018. You're telling me writers of 2018 cannot think of something more clever or more interesting considering the countless action films we've had since then, when a bad guy has a gun on the good guy, and how does the good guy get out of this? Oh, a cop comes last second. You can't think of anything more unique, or like the good guy. How about this? How about the good guy says, okay, you can shoot me, but you don't have to deal with my partner over there. And they look, and he lies. That's what I mean. If it was The Rock character from wrestling, maybe he like talks shit to him, then talks shit to a guy behind him that isn't there to psych him out. That's what I mean. Like, play around with that, man. But no. The Rock gets to the building, goes up the crane, makes the leap. So much green screen. Again, it must be a fucking video game. There's probably as much fucking green screen in this movie than Sin fucking City. You don't need this much green screen. And it looks fake. And it looks phony. And ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, had a hand in the effects. They were on their C game. Or D game. They were not on their A game. The fires look phony. I mean, come on. This is 2018. You have an over $100 million budget. Why is it that I can watch a direct-to-video PM entertainment film from the 90s called Deadly Outbreak with Jeff Speakman, which is a cool, fun action film, where he takes a shotgun, shoots a guy in the balls, and then Jeff Speakman goes, guess you forgot your bulletproof cup. That has real cars, real chases, real explosions, real gunfights, real fisticuffs, real shit going on, and that's a direct-to-video film, like many of PM Entertainment films. I can name you dozens, well, at least a dozen PM Entertainment films. I can name you films of Gary Daniels, like Rage and Riot and Recoil, or Jeff Wincott. My Last Man Standing with Jeff Wincott. I mean, fuck. This is direct-to-video stuff from the 90s. And you have real shit, but here they can't do it for real. And people go budget. But how is it that this budget was like, you know, a couple million if they were lucky? This is over $100 million. It really is Die Hard in China. That's what it is. Die Hard did it in 1988. A fucking building. Which is funny. Nakatomi, Asian guy. And this is China. Asian guy running the building. And the movie's just so run-of-the-mill. It is so PG-13. I can't even say that because this is a PG-13. I liked it. It is just so pedestrian. It is so, I hate to say unoriginal, but it's just so plain brown wrapper. No colors, nothing to it. You get a plain brown wrapper. Or you get plain white toilet paper. Not scented, nothing smooth to smooth your ass like a baby butt. Just fucking plain bread. Plain, just plain white bread of a movie. Because when The Rock gets in the building, The Rock pushes one guy off into the fire down below, meets up with Neve Campbell. He has to hold this bridge thing while Neve Campbell gets one of the kids, and one of the other kids are way up over there. And then you get to see in the trailer where he puts Neve Campbell in the 110 in his elevator and hits it with an axe, and they go down like 800 miles per hour but survive. And then Neve Campbell gets to the officers on there, including Byron Mann. If that name sounds familiar, he played Ryu in the Jean-Claude Van Damme film Street Fighter. He was also in Crying Freeman, which is a much better movie than this. with Mark Dacascos. Drive! You watch Drive with Mark Dacascos and Kadeem Hardison. A great action film. That cost $3 million. That was like 1997. Great movie. Should have a Blu-ray of it. Should have. Great. I mean, that has crazy stuff in a lot of it for real. But yet, this movie gets hundreds of millions of dollars and can't do shit for it. Fake ass green screen. The Rock and the one, oh yeah, Byron Mann. He was also in a couple of Steven Seagal films, which, believe me, I know because I've reviewed every single Steven Seagal film on this channel. There's a playlist. Believe me. If people know my channel, they know I've reviewed every single Steven Seagal film. Especially like Under Siege 1 and 2 are better than this movie. And Byron Mann, really his character is pointless. Doesn't really get much to do. Him and this Asian lady, Neve Campbell, go and stop the Asian henchwoman. With her and Neve Campbell getting a little scuffle in the back of a police car. And then the henchwoman doesn't even get killed. She just gets punched by Neve Campbell and then it gets arrested. Byron Mann is pretty much wasted in this film. Useless character. The Rock and the other kid, they get caught. And they want in this door because they want this guy who owns the building who has something they want. That's where you get the scene where he's scuffling on the side of the building and he does something and there's CGI fire burst out and he swings and that's where his leg is caught, his fake leg. He gets back in. The fights are nothing to run home about. Nothing exciting or memorable about any of the handful of fights. And then the finale, the guy who owns the building has this one room with a bunch of, I was going to say mirrors, but like little pillars that come out of the floor. I guess when they turn on, the walls and floor disappear so you can see the city. Like, it's still there, but you can see through into the city. But I guess really the reason they're there is honestly to have an Enter the Dragon type of, or total, I don't know what they were going for. It's using reflections. And I'm like, I'm sorry movie, John Wick Chapter 2 beat you to it a year before. And it was much better. And whether they were going for Enter the Dragon or even Total Recall, I was waiting for The Rock to say, "You think this is the real Rock? It is. You think this is the real Quaid?" Granted, that's not really mirrors as hologram, but you know, same principle. Is that, oh, there's reflections, and oh, you're shooting me. No, you're shooting a reflection. And then the ending, the bad guy, just like the beginning, the bad guy had a kid. Now the bad guy has his kid. And The Rock comes out. Oh, let me tell you something. I forget the exact line, but pretty much says, "I'm behind you." So the guy's not really looking at The Rock, he's looking at a reflection, and The Rock is really behind him and like pushes him off the building. And then Neve Campbell turns the thing on, this, you know, sprinklers awash the building, they leave, and the movie ends. People I know a lot of times wonder, why do I just tell the entire movie? So that you don't have to watch it. Instead of wasting 90 minutes, you can waste 25 minutes. That's still over an hour of your time. Because really, I didn't leave much of anything out. The Rock gives a boring performance. One of his most boring performances. There's not much life to his character. I don't remember a single memorable line of dialogue. The villains, I dare anyone to tell me the villains' names or anything about them. They might as well be a bunch of fucking people shaped out of fucking soap. The music, I dare you to think of one note of the musical score, let alone any songs or anything. The effects, subpar for ILM and an over $100 million budget. Pretty damn subpar. Fucking green screen the movie. None of the stunt work or action set pieces generated any suspense or thrills. I mean, you think of Cliffhanger 25 years ago. Stallone and the guy going down the snow and Stallone pushing the guy's face into the snow. You know, it's real people going down. The ending. You have a helicopter on the side of this mountain and two people struggling over it. I'm like, how did they do that? Here, it's like, yeah, all looks fake today. At least in this movie. And they're just not... This movie is so boring in one ear, out the other, forgettable trash. Even Rampage, like I said, had some dumb, fun monster action at the end, which I enjoyed. And that's why I would put it above this. This movie is so much of a nothing that might as well be a fucking see-through paper. Like, this, I might as well say, here's Skyscraper. Here's the cover for it. Oh, there's nothing there? Exactly. That's the fucking movie. There's nothing there but the fucking air. I tell you one thing, The Rock's career is ready to traverse off a fucking skyscraper. He keeps this up. Jesus. But I'm sure this movie made money foreign-wise. Like it was intended. But if you enjoy this film, that's fine. You can feel free to tell me why. I would just rather watch The Rundown, or yes, even Central Intelligence. Yes, Doom. Fast and Furious movies, if you want dumb fun. I would go watch, this. Olympus Has Fallen is much better. London Has Fallen is much better than this. I do enjoy those two movies. One day I want to review those, but I have a lot on my plate. Because Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen are fun. I don't really know what else to say. So I guess I'll end it here. Thanks for watching. Take care. And The Rock, stop being the fucking crock and either get a new agent or start reading strips. Please. Thank you. Later.